Hi, everybody. This is Aaron Murakami, and today is Thursday, May 7th, 2015. And on the line I have with me Mr. Garrett Shivo, who is the former CEO of Magnetizer. And before we bring him on the line, I just want to mention, take a second to mention about Magnet Secrets, which is a book that Peter Lindemann wrote several years back explaining how to use permanent magnets to descale water pipes, to decrease the surface tension of water for agricultural purposes, and how to increase the amount of BTUs that you can get out of the same amount of fuel. And this book is also has documentation by the actual U.S. federal government validating the legitimacy of this type of permanent magnet technology. And we even include in that book at magnetsecrets.com documentation by the department encouraging other departments to use this technology because it saves money. And some of these principles and concepts go back to Bruce DePalma, who many of you know, but a lot of people don't know he was actually developed some of the best methods of using permanent magnets for these purposes. And we'll kind of get into a little bit of the history on that. And Garrett, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Aaron, I hear you fine.
Okay. Well, can you maybe start off by giving us a little bit of background history of Magnetizer and the time that you were with Peter Lindemann and Bruce DePalma and kind of how it evolved into what it is today?
Well, we started out, I actually went to university in California at the DePalma Institute of Energy Research, and I formed a corporation with Bruce and another person, one of the original founders, Peter Coolidge, and we formed a company called White Light Industries, and we developed a patent around a very powerful magnetic water conditioning unit, but it had one restriction, is that a pipe had to be cut in order to install it. So we developed a higher level of understanding of what really needed to be done, and we actually sold that company, and eventually it went out of business. And we developed a product that clamps over the pipes. And the important thing about our product is it works on all pipes, whether it be plastic, copper, steel, what have you. And the reason is our trade secrets involve a condition that prevents what's in electricity known as a dead short. It's this closest resistance to the other polarity. And we avoid that by our trade secrets. So we work on all pipes in all conditions. And we've worked on some major applications for the United States Air Force. We have a MEEC report from the Air Force. We have a government stocking number from the government. We sold to Toyota, Mitsubishi, Siemens, Samsung. We sold to all the trains in China, actually, and it decarbonized their engines, and they took them all apart to find out that, we are really running pure. And our applications are water, fuel, and now our newest one is on HVAC, vapor compression systems, and refrigeration mixtures. But to start out with water, it was first discovered in 1823 by the Belgians, who noticed immediately when they got new pumps for the bilges of the ships that had magnets in the scavenged rust and metal. They noticed immediately that they were creating black rust instead of red corrosive rust. And the reason that was happening is an electron spin changes, and it converts to that situation. So when you are magnetizing in your home, you're preventing scale from building up on the coils of your hot water heater, the coils of your boiler. You're descaling your system. And you can actually notice this because the scale will start coming out of the system and get caught in the screen of your sink. And the reason it happens is we potentiate a small electric charge because calcium and magnesium are electrolytes. So pure water will not conduct a charge. But when you do this and you alter the change of the electron spin, you soften the calcium and the hard minerals, which is known as total dissolved solids, TDS. And they fail to precipitate out, and they become very soft. And we've had large boilers, enormous boilers, we just washed out pounds and pounds and pounds of calcium and magnesium that had built up over the years. So our applications are very vast. In Japan, all Toyota factories, all the car factories are using us on their big cooling towers. The Hilton Hotel uses us. And, the applications, extend to all types of fuel to include natural gas. And we have great results, and we're working on a very enormous government-sponsored program in Europe right now where we're magnetizing natural gas. And we've been doing this, and we have the systems for the homes that literally saves 20 to 25% on natural gas. We've had one lady who installed a system on a Bosch instant hot water heater, and she got into the shower, and the water had increased in temperature so high she had to, add more cold water and get out and go down, and it did not have a thermostat or it would adjust it itself. Mm-hmm. And she had to turn down the control so that it wouldn't be so hot. And in that situation, we're separating the molecules, so we're actually allowing air to permeate between the either hydrocarbon or the methane molecule in whatever case may be in regards to the fuel, so that you have a more complete burn. And when you have a more complete burn, you have a hotter burn, and you're burning more fuel, and you have more use of the fuel that's provided to the application. For instance, in diesel trucks and trains, planes, well, we don't do planes, but in World War II, the Mustangs had magnetic fuel treatment, and they also had alcohol water injection. So that's a very interesting thing that, they needed the magnetic fuel treatment to help congeal and align the molecules so that it would, hold in suspension all the particulates that were presented to it. And when you do this, and especially in diesel applications, you reduce the emissions a great deal. We did an application on large concrete trucks that were not allowed to run in Massachusetts, but when they installed our magnets, they passed the air quality control test, and they tested the trucks 3 times because there's something the matter with the testing machines. And this is documented Massachusetts State Testing Center, so it's another government test. We've been tested by the Air Force. We've even been tested by Southwest EPA. And we passed with flying colors. And, Magnetizer is now going on, it's 30th year. I like to say 27-plus years because I kind of like that number. But, our applications are grown now to having a new worldwide patent on magnetizing refrigeration mixtures for vapor compression systems. That would be heat pumps and air conditioners. And those systems are available and, can be available through Magnetizer products as well. So, our applications are enormous. One of the great applications is saving money, and that is really seen clearly with swimming pools, because when you magnetize water that's recirculated in a swimming pool, you're again lining up the molecules, and you're holding all particulate, whether it be an additive, which would be chlorine or what have you, and the pH tends to migrate to 0 or to 7.0 to neutral, and there's the chlorine is suppressed and it does not gas out because chlorine will float on the surface of the water, but when it's magnetized, it's held in between the molecules, and it has a higher kill rate, and literally use 1/3 less chlorine in your swimming pool and all additives that you put into your swimming pool, and it keeps the sludge off the side of the swimming pool. We did a trade show out in Vegas, and we put some units on splash super pools. They're above ground pools, and every other pool they had to wipe down this scum on the side every morning, except for the ones that were using Magnetizer. And we've been doing business with them for a very long time, and swimming pools is a great application. Another great application is irrigation. Irrigation, what happens is when the hydrogen and the oxygen evaporate, where the water evaporates, what you have left, and that's what makes soil hard, is total dissolved solids, calcium, magnesium. So there's also an enrichment that happens when you magnetize water. But the real reason that soil becomes less effective is it's getting clogged up with hard minerals, and the water cannot get to the roots of the plants. So you can really decrease the irrigation time. And another great advantage is the pop-ups on golf courses that we've done. They don't get fouled with calcium magnesium. It all stays soft and just goes flying past. And there's no end to the applications. Actually, we're used all over the world, and I'm totally delighted with the results that we've had from Magnetizer and the association we have with Magnetizer products. And Peter Linderman, who's a great friend of mine from back in the days of the DePalma Foundation, and we look forward to another 30 years, more.
What I'd like to, sure. I'd actually like to read some of these testimonials that we have on the website here. There's actually so many; it'd take too long to read through all of them. But I'd like to kind of hit some of the ones where people will definitely be able to recognize the names of the companies and the organizations using them, because these kind of testimonials pretty much, speak for themselves and give pretty serious credibility to the products. If anybody wants to look at these, they can go to magnetizerproducts.com and then click on the testimonials link, and you can kind of scan through these and look at exactly what I'm reading off here. And personally, I've actually used these products for maybe the last 6-7 years, and I have them on my main line for my water system. And one of the things that I noticed early on was being able to lather up, have soap lather up more with less soap than without the magnets. And also in my hot water kettle on my stove, the same one I've been using for probably close to 10 years, not only did a lot of the scale come out of it that was caked in there, but the white film pretty much just won't stick to the bottom anymore. You can see kind of remnants around the inside, circumference, a little bit in the bottom, but it has stayed at that level right there for years without increasing and even building up. But on this testimonial page, we have the University of California save $4,200 yearly on elimination of chemicals, acid treatment, drilling, and maintenance, and which translates to $6,300 and $2,004. And at that time, their return on investment was only 2 months. If anything, given ROI in a couple months, it's pretty much crazy not to do it. Siemens, international conglomerate. That's kind of everybody knows the Siemens name who's paid attention to any technology, and they have a boiler plant in Istanbul, Turkey. And the testimonial from one of their engineers is that they were saving an average of 18.6% on fuel savings. And they have some of the industrial-sized magnetizers on their natural gas hot water boilers. Let's see, a Canadian
and they're available for your home as well. I mean, all these products are available for the house. As well as commercial applications. The commercial application products are indeed much bigger and larger, and the applications are a little different. But for your home system and pool, it's the ideal situation. I just wanted to interject one thing: is that when you have a saltwater softener in your house, you can actually bypass it when you use a magnetizer, because you're not going to get that sodium soapy feel. You're going to feel clean. Your hair is going to squeak, and you're going to have a cleaner feeling overall.
Well, I know when I'm at different families' houses, and they have a saltwater softener, and when taking a shower, trying to rinse off the soap, it's almost like you feel like a slime. It's a real slimy feeling, and I'll have soap in my hands, and I'm trying to rinse it off. And it takes me it seems like it takes forever just to kind of get that slimy feeling up.
That's right.
And
like taking a bath in the ocean, actually.
Right. But on magnetizerproducts.com, there's a products link kind of prominent right under the banner going across the screen. And if anybody goes there, most of the products that we have the PayPal buttons for, most of those are for residential home or small business use. There are some pictures to some of the bigger industrial units and stuff. And if you have an industrial application in mind, basically the best thing to do is just contact us and let us know exactly what the specs are, the diameter of the pipes, the lengths of them, what the exact application is, and then we'll be able to run it by Garrett to figure out exactly what your needs are. For the industrial ones.
We can pick it up from there and interact with photographs, and we've engineered many systems without even visiting the plants. And it just depends what the application is. In a large scale situation, we'd have to go there. And, But if you have a pizza oven, basically it's very, very simple application. I mean, you install on the gas line, and we've done thousands of those, I think.
Right. Well, some other just want to mention a few of these testimonials, like, for example, IBM. So IBM is a customer of the Magnetizer products, and their fuel consumption was reduced by 17%, which is savings of $20,000 for that particular installation, and the one-time cost was $6,300. And let's see, the U.S. Air Force. U.S. Air Force using these products on some vehicles and on some road tests reduced unburned hydrocarbons by 75% on diesel, 70% with gasoline. And they mentioned that carbon monoxide emissions were also substantially reduced. Beijing Railroad, absolutely huge, saving between 4.5% to 4.9% in fuel savings, and up to 9.1%. Brazilian EPA, 20.11% diesel fuel savings. In India,
Aaron, let me just point out one thing about the Beijing Railroad. The trains were actually, a lot of the U.S. trains are diesel powered and then go to electric generation. But let me point this out, is that the trains are different in China. They actually run directly off the diesel engine. And they were only able to go 28 miles an hour, but after the magnetizers were installed, not only did they have it more efficient and less pollution, the trains were able to go 35 miles an hour. So that was an increase of 20% almost of increase in speed, because more fuel was made available, more power was made available to the engine because a more complete burn was taking place.
Right.
I found that extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we even have the government in India, Ministry of Surface Transportation, 16.8% diesel savings. Went from 10.7 to 12.5 kilometers per liter. We have post office testimonials. We have a video here. The Chief of Operations at New York's Hilton, and he gives quite a testimonial there. There's actually two videos on the testimonials page. From Hilton, the big hotel chain. Then we have all these government
installations. That was the regional supervisor, Mike Smith, and then I forget the name of his facility manager. But the facility manager noted that they had great success in reducing the algae growth in the calcium magnesium buildup on the heat exchangers in the cooling towers, and they installed on all the Hilton hotels in New York City, which was about 5, I think.
And there's a huge list of all the government installations with government, city, state level, Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, prisons, a bunch of pending installations. Then you have the commercial and industrial client list, everybody from Coca-Cola to the city of Seattle. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. A bunch of Japanese industrial clients, everything from Matsushita to Panasonic, Fuji, Fujitsu. A bunch of companies in India, and we see the logos for Walt Disney, and they even wrote up a testimonial here. It's talking about they're saving approximately $63,000 a year in energy costs, and this is Walt Disney World. I mean, we even have the engineer report from Siemens talking about the over 17-18% savings in fuel.
And these are independent tests. We didn't do these tests ourselves. They did the tests with their own engineers. Right. And the return on investment, as Aaron said, is very fast. And yeah, there's some obstacles that we needed to overcome because there's other companies out there that like to sell products too, but most of their products are fuel, and when we reduce that fuel consumption, we're doing the consumer and the industry great diligence, and we're proud of that. And we've been able to maintain the corporation through different evolutions, and now, like I said, we're going on our 30th year, and probably end up being in business forever. I mean, we have a very large distribution base. Magnetizer Products is a very, very large addition to that, and mostly in residential products, but they do come up with some industrial applications. And
now, I'd like to mention. Oh, go ahead.
No. I mean, we're willing to take a look at anything
Right.
In regards to applications from golf courses to bakeries to whatever, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to do so.
Yeah, there's,
But I guess I should add at this moment, Aaron, let me interrupt this to say, the products that mostly is illustrated on magnetizerproducts.com are products that are simply in-the-box products. There's no engineering involved. Any homeowner can install these products within a few moments. Aaron's actually done some films where he's actually done installations on a water system in, about 7 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And a
car
car
really
installation in about 7 minutes or less. And these videos are on your site as well. And they're terrific to watch because the simplicity of the installation is just, anyone can do it. I mean, with a little forethought and, careful analyzation of what you're doing. And there's no big trick. And, Aaron points that out on the videos that he's made. So,
yeah, and on the magnetizerproducts.com, if anybody clicks on the products link, there's maybe 2 or 3 videos embedded from YouTube on there with automobile installation, and there's a PowerPoint video that kind of goes into some of the technical details and stuff. And I want to mention that there's other companies in the industry selling magnetic and conditioning products for fuel and water. And one of the claims that just really doesn't hold up is that they're moving towards neodymium magnets and trying to make it as strong as possible. But in a lot of the research that I read, if the magnets are actually too strong, it can have a reverse effect where it actually decreases the effectiveness. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. It scatters the molecules if you have a too intense field. You have to have the right, basically it's a frequency, and it's part of our base trade secrets. We don't talk about those, and that's why Magnetizer is always, we've been a dominant world leader. And one thing that you may or may not know, Aaron, I don't know if I ever told you this, magnetohydrodynamics is the essence of what really goes on here. Won the Nobel Prize in 1970. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where Bruce DePalma first came up with something like that. And then there was a product that was coming out of France that was a little thing that they had a multi-level marketing situation around it. We don't bother with that. We just, mm-hmm. You just sell straight, and our prices are consistent. And I can't remember more than a handful of returns after 27 years. And the returns were, maybe they overextended themselves, or they didn't know, or they had a hard time with it, or there's some other reason that was not relevant to the product itself. And I can't think of any more than a handful of returns that we've had. So, we stand behind the product entirely, and we've had great successes. And with companies like Disney, $63,000 a year, they had to chill their water to keep algae from building up. And when they did that, the water became so crystal clear, they had to put dye in the water so that you wouldn't see the equipment on the rides, the water rides. So we've been around the block, and we've been in the major corporations. And like I said, we're working on a natural gas deal in Europe right now, which will put Magnetizer on the map. There's just no doubt about that. And Aaron's handling a lot of the consumer products and vastly, increasing his sales greatly. So we're pretty happy about that. And welcome anyone who wants to have information to visit magnetizerproducts.com.
Yeah, and on the magnetizerproducts.com products page, under each section for each particular item, for example, Magnetizer Pool and Spa Conditioner, at the bottom of those, under the item number, there's a little clickable link, and if you click on those, that will let you download a brief little PDF text sheet that kind of shows you, bigger pictures of kind of what it looks like, how they're installed, a few specs, some of the benefits. And so those are available for pretty much all the products. And that's the same with also the industrial ones, whether it's agricultural, marine. There's even one for oil lines. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one that helps paraffins from building up? Is that like a typical problem in the oil drilling industry?
In the oil industry, in refineries, they have things that are called lateral lines, and paraffin is a big problem because they have to shut down the system and they have to use hot. Paraffin is wax, And there's something also in oil wells that is called a cloud point, and it's almost could be able to compare it to a dew point of water, and this is where the paraffin starts congealing. So when you magnetize it, again, you homogenize it. You can think of magnetizing a fluid as homogenizing a fluid. And the oil applications, have been a substantial part of our business, and we're installed on many refineries, and there's a certain amount of resistance to magnet treatment on oil lines, and I think they want to sell as much oil as they possibly can. And so the homeowner benefits greatly natural gas. I mean, it pays for itself. I mean, if anyone's out there that's involved with a fuel buying group, I mean, talk to Aaron. I mean, I'm sure we can work something out great that would get your members involved in saving a lot more money than just being able to buy fuel at a reduced rate. Again, we have natural gas results where there's 20-25% instantly with natural gas, instantly. And it actually was tested by Honeywell at an infrared level with something called a purple peeper. And the infrared resonance raised 20%. In some cases, with boilers, they have to, reconfigure them a little bit to reduce the amount of gas because it just like the lady who had the instant hot water, Bosch hot water heater. She got after putting on the magnetizer, she got in the shower and she almost got, typically turned it on the way she did, and she had to, quickly turn on the cold water more, and then realized she had to go down and reset the dial on the machine, which was did not have a thermostat control. It was like just a valve control. So she had to reduce it to almost nothing, and it increased it that well. And she fine-tuned it, and her product paid for itself. They family of 4 sisters. They all have them in their homes right now, and actually she was a good friend of mine, and my nurse. I was sick for a couple of years, not to be on the dark side of things, but I'm well. And she was a friend, and she tried it, and actually recommended it to a lot of people, and many people who do magnetizer get involved with buying a magnetizer. Always recommend it to someone else, and they have good results. And if you have irrigation in your lawn, and any other application with water, swimming pools, we're there. And these products are in the box ready. It's nothing that needs to be engineered. Very simple instructions. All the documentation is there, and these products are consumer ready. Whereas industrial products need to have a survey and be scrutinized in that effect. So I can recommend it highly. I have them installed in my gas system. And they work just as well on propane as they do on methane, which is natural gas versus hydrocarbons. And, it saves me. I live in Vermont, and it gets pretty cold up here. And they can't understand why I, don't buy as much fuel as I can, because I have a 3,600 square foot house, and we're very warm in here. But, of course, we built it with spray insulation and all that, too. But at the same time, it's even consistent and saves us money. So
right.
I wouldn't leave home without it, to tell you the truth. And you can take it with you if you move. They're easily to uninstall just as they are to install. So, you never lose it. I mean, if you trade your car, and you can take it off and put it on your new car.
Yeah, it just takes a minute. I mean, it's just a zip tie on both ends, and that's about it.
And you'd only have to take one zip tie off to get it off anyway.
Right.
So, and you can buy a zip tie at the hardware store for 20 cents, and that's all you really need. And they're permanent. They don't have a shelf life. They're good for 50,000 years, and maybe more. Who knows? But that's the standard for the high quality magnets we use. And the magnets we use are of a specific frequency, and that's part of the trade secret too, and we don't really go bragging about too much. But The reason we work on all types of pipe is, again, in electricity, we'll seek the shortest distance to a dead short. Now, a magnet will too, and that comes into play when you put a magnet on a metal pipe. We work on a metal pipe where some other people who try to copy us, they don't, because they don't understand, and we're not telling them why it works for us all the time. So that's the only, the protection we have is patents, and we have worldwide patents on the refrigeration mixtures, and, you even have a video, Aaron, for refrigerator installation, correct?
Yes.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, there's no doubt that, magnetized fluid has been documented by the U.S. government, and
right.
And we have a stocking number for the U.S. government, and we sell to the U.S. government. So,
right.
And all other governments, South America, and now we're doing work in Europe at the highest level we've ever done anything, and it's really not open to discussion right now. That's about all I can say about it, because they're actually passing a law to mandate that application on natural gas. So if you think about it, you might be able to figure out what company that is, but I'm not supposed to say.
Right.
And,
well, the documentation is certainly endless, showing the validity of these, and I just want to mention one more, which is on magnetizerproducts.com on the products link. If you scroll down to the second product, which is Magnetizer for a home hard water conditioner, underneath there's a link to a basic PDF for home hard water, but under that it says full description page, and if you click that link under there, that brings up a little graphic where you can see a copy of the magazine, The Military Engineer, and it's a short read right there, but you can you can see what was written up in The Military Engineer about the Magnetizer products, talking about a little bit of the science there.
There's a picture of a boiler on there with all the scale coming out of the front of it, and because the system was cleaned up. And all big boilers benefit from having scale-free circulation, as well as the heat exchangers and chiller plant. And the Hilton Hotel video, listening to the facility manager, is very, very informative. And, there's a lot of great information on magnetizerproducts.com. It's all there. Yeah, those Hilton videos, again, there's two, one with the Chief of Operations and then one with the engineer. Both those videos are embedded on the testimonial page. And, definitely if anybody has any questions, you can contact us through the website. There's a contact us link. And so anyway, well, Garrett, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to share a few minutes of, a little bit about your background and sharing some of your knowledge about the Magnetizer products with us. And if anybody has any questions, we'll definitely let you know if there's something that we can't answer ourselves. Well, I'd like to extend my regards to Peter Lindeben, and thank you, Aaron, for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch soon.
Very good, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Garrett. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.